All right. Welcome to 6G Agenda. I'm your host, Andrew. Thanks for being patient. Here to talk about what they won't, as always. Hopefully, everybody's hearing me good through here. I was trying to get all my settings all together. All right. Let me get started. Yeah, so you may have seen, based on the thumbnail that we had going on and also the title, what we're going to be talking about here. It's going to be the M.A.I.D program, medical assistance in dying. And we're not talking about people cleaning your house. What this is, I almost call it medical assistance in debt. Because it seems, as you look into this, that if you want, if you feel like a burden to society, if you, you may just be able to, if you have a debt that you just feel like you just can't pay it. And, maybe you could just go get some medical assistance with that and die. Obviously I'm being facetious, but it's really just a slippery slope, guys. I really disagree with this kind of program. And as you look into it, it's already becoming kind of what you would imagine it to become. Of course, it's starting off with terminal illnesses. We just want to, take care of people that just can't handle life anymore because they're literally about to die anyway. Sounds great, of course. But once you open that door, it turns into a dark, dark place, as we'll get into. Um, Also, what are they not telling us about the detention centers in Neuralink? We're going to get into that. Is it possible that there is some kind of non-consent Neuralink testing going on with ICE detainees? We will be getting into that as well. So strap up, get ready. It's going to be a fun episode. Dark episode, but very fun, very informative, as always on 6G. We kind of mix it all together, don't we? But a big part of this, what kind of right before I started this show, I've talked a lot about Curtis Yarvin on this show. And right before I started this, I read Patchwork. And it's just something I fell into and I found and I was reading it. Mencius Moldbug's Patchwork, which is his writer's name, Mencius Moldbug. So Curtis Yarvin writes about this idea. And I'm going to just tell you about this, kind of give an introduction, and then we'll get into say hi to everybody and do some housekeeping. But Curtis Yarvin talked about the underclass and what can we do with this underclass when we create this patchwork system, which we've talked about that a lot on the show. This CEO king technate and all the CEO monarchy, AI monarchy, et cetera, et cetera. We talk about it all the time. So he kind of says he goes, what do we do with this underclass, right? As a matter of fact, let me just show it to you. I don't want to butcher it. I'd love for you to see it. So yeah, Mencius Moldbug, aka Curtis Yarvin, talks about what are we going to do with the underclass? Well, we could virtualize them. We could turn them into biodiesel fuel for our trolleys for this new technate system that we're creating, right? So he had all these ideas. And, honestly, while I was reading this, I got emotional. I was like, wow, this is so dark. I couldn't imagine that somebody would actually think this way. Hold on, my camera keeps messing up here. So I just couldn't imagine that somebody would actually think about these things this way with such a lack of care. And so anyway, so as I got into it, I was like, all right, well, let me look into this. And it seems that they're creating the tech that he was talking about, the idea of virtualizing and all these things. So let me go ahead and add this to stage here. This is it right here. So in Patchwork, I just saved this, so this is perfect. He talks about virtualizing is the most humane alternative to genocide. And a lot of the stuff we'll get into today kind of talks about this exact technology. Curtis Yarvin talks about the utter dystopian techno-monarch ideology that Curtis Yarvin has. That's what this post is about. And it's funded by Peter Thiel. He is, and so is J.D. Vance, of course. They're just kind of giving an intro to who Curtis Yarvin is. It says here, as a delegate of San Francisco, what should you do with these people? I think the answer is clear. Alternative energy. Since wards are liabilities, there's no business case for retaining them at their present. So their present ambulatory form. So he's talking about the underclass, the people that you just can't really, they don't work, they just kind of suck off the state, etc. So the most profitable disposition for this dubious form of capital is to convert them into biodiesel, which can help power the muni buses. Now he says, okay, just kidding. Sort of a naive Randian thing, which appeals instantly to a geek like him, but of course has nothing to do with real life. The trouble with biodiesel solution is that no one would want to live in a city with public transportation that was fueled, even partly, by the distilled remains of its late underclass. It's just dark, when you read somebody's idea of, being funny. Be to not to liquidate the wards metaphorically or literally, but to virtualize them, a virtualized human in a permanent solitary confinement, waxed like a bee in larva in a cell. I mean, this guy's sick, dude. He's talking about people essentially sealed except for emergencies, but this would drive him insane, except that the cell contains an immersive virtual reality interface, which allows him to experience a rich, fulfilling life in a completely imaginary world. So anyway, this guy's courting favor with people like JD Vance, et cetera, et cetera. So it's people like this, that I'm just like, dude, it's just insane, But hold on a second. Let me get this figured out. So anyway, yeah, it's people like Curtis Yarvin that kind of got me going. So also I saw this, and this is what just made me decide, okay, I'm gonna do this show today. And here it is. So this is a well, let me make sure I got sound on here. This is it's a M.A.I.D program advertisement. And it's probably the weirdest ad I've ever seen in my life, honestly. So hold on, let me go ahead and pull this up. All right, ready? Yeah.
For us are sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see bubbles. I see the ocean. I see music. Even now, as I seek help to end my life, there is still so much beauty. You just have to be brave enough to see it.
Okay. So yeah, that's just dark, I mean, she's talking about all the beauty she sees in life as she goes to end her life. I don't understand how why somebody I don't understand how that's an advertisement. Somebody like what's his name? Somebody like Tim Dillon should make jokes about that. I mean, it's almost writes its own jokes. That advertisement's so messed up. It almost makes its own jokes. It's insane. But yeah, I just think it's crazy. Hold on one second. All right, got my camera back up. So anyway, yeah, I just think it's absolutely nuts. All right, what's up, guys? How we doing? How we doing? So that's just kind of an intro. So you see those two things together. Obviously the Curtis Yarvin patchwork thing, virtualizing people and doing those things. I just thought that, it was just such an inhumane way to look at people and such an inhumane way to treat them. Doing that, but whatever. So anyway, how we doing? How we doing? Cake in a cup. What's up? How we doing, Nef Hunter? Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Hey, we'll go ahead and do the the same deal. Super chat first 5 people. Hit that shit up, and you get free Patreon for a couple months. How we doing? Birdman. Made in the shade, baby. Yeah, hopefully not. What's this? There was a scene like that in Soylent Green. Really? That's crazy. Yeah, man, it's freaky, dude. I just think that I think of Bubbles as I'm gonna kill myself. Did you hear her? She's like, as I go to to enter to this death, I think about Bubbles. I'm just thinking about Bubbles. Thinking about the beauty of life. What's up? Still Prill. How we doing?
Oh, here, hold on. Let me fix my mic. Man, dude, I honestly don't like this app. I think I'm gonna get.
I need to get off this app. I gotta get off this app. Gotta get off this app. Anyway, StreamYard sucks, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. Maybe I need to start using Restream or something. Inside Your Bones, welcome in. How we doing? Hopefully we're done with these technical difficulties. Let's get back to it. You know, I'm gonna just one more time because I don't think we could do that enough. I mean, it's really crazy to me. Just this concept that like we're looking at here. Just one more time. I just think it's worth it to look at this this ad again, man. I mean, come on, dude. I saw this ad and I just thought, dude, this is such an inverted world we live in today. I just don't get it.
Breaths are sacred. When I imagine my final days, I see bubbles. I see the ocean. I see music. Even now, as I seek help to end my life, there is still so much beauty. You just have to be brave enough to see it. Breaths.
Even as I seek to end my life, I see so much beauty in the world. So why would you end your life if you see all this beauty? And how is it just almost defeats the purpose. So this is just kind of like what's been running through my head. All right. We'll get into all the details of this and everything. I'm just kind of giving you a little intro to this. So we got a lot of stuff on the M.A.I.D program, a lot of stuff on the detention centers and on ICE. I think that's very important as well. We're going to get into that. Here, let me show you this. So we got Neuralink labs near ICE detention camps, Miami, Florida. Neuralink's clinical site at the University of Miami is located near the Chrome Detention Facility. 2024 to 2025 noted detainee deaths involving neurological symptoms, prompting calls for investigations. We're going to get deeper into this, but I just want to give an intro to this topic as well. So there's a Neuralink research site based at Barrow Neurological Institute, situated near ICE facilities, where, according to reports, solitary confinement times increased significantly. So they're trying to keep people away from everybody so they don't know the symptoms possibly. And then Hawaii as well. So allegations have suggested potential connections to Honolulu involved transferred detainees, questions about logistical proximity to the medical facilities, and Neuralink. So I got a lot of stuff on this shit. So welcome in. Let's do it. So hopefully we're all good. Technical difficulties are over and we could get going. I've got a lot of shit to go to. So we're going to start with this. It's a cautionary tale of euthanasia in Canada. Pull this up. Okay, so euthanasia becomes more prevalent in Canada. Death is increasingly seen as an escape for the suffering. What role do Christians play in nurturing advocates for life-affirming care? Look at this. Life-affirming care. That's like what they're calling if you want to live. We're going to affirm your life. How about, I don't know, man. Whatever. Maybe I'm looking too far into it, but it seems like they give less to the life aspect and more like to the other, I don't know. So let's look at slippery slope. M.A.I.D was first legalized in 2016 for Canadians whose deaths was reasonably foreseeable. At the time, a person had to be have a grievous, irremediable medical condition, which caused enduring physical or psychological suffering. Think of someone with terminal cancer. In 2021, 5 years later, M.A.I.D was expanded to include those whose death is not reasonably foreseeable. With this expansion, people with disabilities or non-terminal illnesses could choose to have a doctor end their lives. Think of someone who is wheelchair bound, or somebody who has debts or homeless or, feels like a burden to society. That's a new statistic, that people that are feeling like a burden to society are the ones, like, if they just can't pay their medical bills. So now doctors can say, look, man, you don't have insurance, you can't pay your medical bills. Like, I mean, what are we doing here? We're not going to treat you. or they just kind of push it, kind of don't say it, but they just, I don't know how they would do it, but I'm sure there's some weird thing that they do where they're like apprehensive to help, let you kind of suffer more than you should. And then you finally say, okay, look, I just want to end it. Anyway, the next expansion has already passed into law. Implementation has been delayed until March 17, 2027. This could allow Canadians suffering solely from a mental illness to be eligible for euthanasia. Somebody suffering from depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Since legalization, the number of euthanasia deaths in Canada has steadily grown every year and showed little sign of slowing down. 2016 and 2023, 60,000 Canadians have been euthanized. 15,000 in 2023 alone. Euthanasia now accounts for 4.7% of all deaths in the country, a rate second only to the Netherlands, and euthanasia is now the 5th most cause of death in Canada. Wow. These numbers with Oregon, the first state to legalize assisted suicide in 1997. In 2023, 367 people died by assisted suicide in Oregon. That's only 0.8% of the deaths in the state. Either way, I don't like the fact that it's in the states. We're going to get into that as well. I think that obviously we have state by state action. So therefore, Oregon may be good, but Washington may decide to go for the depression aspect. So I just think, again, the slippery slope always applies. So, of course, Oregon and other American states only permit assisted suicides where a doctor gives the patient the means to end their own life. And generally, they need 2 doctors to sign off on it, etc. In Canada, assisted suicide is permitted, but nearly non-existent. M.A.I.D deaths are almost exclusively due to the euthanasia, where a doctor actively ends a patient's life. Man, dude, that's crazy, dude. I mean, because when you think about it, I've seen M.A.I.D ads where they go, we've helped more people this year than we have, last year. And I just think that that's a bad business plan. I understand that obviously every business wants to grow, but I don't think a euthanasia business should be in the business of growing. I mean, just throwing that out there. Suffering is usually behind a request for euthanasia. The most common cited reason for euthanasia requests are the loss of ability to engage in meaningful activities or to perform activities of daily living. So anyway, it gets into this Christian, understanding of human dignity, etc. And obviously that's a thing with the cancer patients. It's funny. The only thing I could find to actually have a cautionary advertisement or article is a Christian university. So at least there's still some good Christians out there, right? You're not going to get anybody else telling you the things we should worry about with this. Everybody else is just going to do like COVID. Oh, we're just protecting people. It's the polite society shit. And then that slippery slope happens because unfortunately, there's the profit aspect whenever it comes to medical hospitalization, etc. I mean, this doesn't fall flat, I'm sure, on anybody here listening. It's just like, of course, there's an incentivization at some point to use the euthanasia instead of the treatment. Just saying. All right, let's pull this one up now. So this PBS News. Some healthcare workers in Canada grappling with patients requesting euthanasia. A homeless man refusing long-term care. A woman with severe obesity. An injured worker given meager government assistance. And a grieving widow. Wow, so we have somebody that's upset. We have somebody that's just a little bit hurt from, I don't know how hurt he is. So they all requested to be killed under Canada's euthanasia system. Each of these sparked private debate amongst doctors, nurses struggling with ethics of one of the world's most permissive laws on the practice. So Canada pushes to expand euthanasia and more countries move to legalize it. As we went into, some doctors fear moving forward, even with cases that meet Canada's legal requirements, which allow people with irremediable suffering from non-fatal medical conditions and disabilities. So doctors ain't feeling right about it because there's some doctors aren't inherently evil. I'm sure that this doesn't fall flat on them either. Now, I wonder, when Trump talks about med beds, let's see, Trump med beds. See, because I wonder what these med beds really are. You know what I mean? Trump posted about a medical conspiracy theory called med beds. September 27, Trump shared, Jesus. Apparently, AI generated video of himself promoting a cure-all med bed. It's a medical conspiracy theory. The video, which has since been deleted from his Twitter account, resembled a Fox News segment on the show hosted by the president's daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, but it never aired on the network. Laura Trump seems to be like the conspiracy theorist of the family in Trump's family. Actually, I think they all have hands in creating conspiracy theories. I think Trump, obviously, he's got a hand in QAnon with Epstein, etc. Steve Bannon, all these people have connections with conspiracies. I'm getting the fuck out of here, dude. USA just wants to run up a bunch of ads and shit on me. But yeah, dude, I would never get into a med bed because the thing is, like, that just seems like a slippery slope as well. We put too much trust into a pharmaceutical industry that has clearly been shown to not mind killing people for profit. Okay, so we can move on from that. Yeah, I just think that it's some crazy shit out here, dude. So there's not too much on med beds yet. I mean, there's some statistics that there is like we could look up like races using M.A.I.D program in Canada. I wonder if they have some kind of statistic. So here we go. Let's see here. 2023, of those who received M.A.I.D under track 2 were female. 50% were male. Yeah, but it's not doing race. So Tucker Carlson puts out this idea that they're disproportionately killing white people. I don't sign off on that. I'm just curious if there's any statistic to back that up and why he would say it. Unless it's true. And I'm not entirely sure if it is, but let's find out. So what do we got here? Ooh. It's not the easiest to find, They don't just got that statistic out there. He probably dug a little, or he's just making it up. White race statistic for M.A.I.D program. Sorry, guys. All right. This is going to be the only thing I look up live. I'm just really curious about this. Also, what the fuck? Did you guys see this graph? It's just hooking up. Look at that. Ticking up. So we got Oregon. I mean, they're saying that there's not many. I mean, we definitely got more people doing it, though. So, all right. Anyway, so let's see here if we could get some kind of statistic. Okay. Race. Non-white, 85. Non-Hispanic white, 95%. Wow. Non-Hispanic white, 95%. That is disproportionate. I mean, that's a lot. 95% of everybody is non-Hispanic white. So that's 1,865 versus 85 non-white people. So I guess I get what he's doing there. I mean, he's right. Wow. Medication, let's see here. Sedatives. Yeah, 67% of the people had sedatives. Whoa, no shit. They're just ready to check out, dude. 87% palliative care. All right, well, just curious. Look at a little statistics there about it. But we will be tracking that. Of course, in our states, we care more about America when it comes to this. But it's definitely a slippery slope, as we said. So we got Sicario pulling up about the Civil War. Wearing the Civil War, I'm taking a burlap sack so I can blend into the garbage. Yeah, dude, it wouldn't be hard, especially with Antifa. Black anything, you just blend right in with Antifa. Maybe don't do that, actually. So, anyway, let's get into this other thing I was looking at. So, there's this. Let me look into this. Hold on. Surgeon malpractice as well. I forgot about that. So, because again, this just kind of just to back up my claim with not trusting the M.A.I.D program and not trusting these kind of medical things. Check this out. There's a surgeon. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Okay. All right, ready for this? This shit's crazy, dude. This is just all right. If you're just listening to this, there's a lady that's dancing with a scalpel in her hand, and she's a surgeon, and she's just jiving right now.
Yeah, wow, booties on flick, waistline snatch, got a big body with a style to match.
Bro, that's a surgeon, dude. So this got community noted, just disclosure, full disclaimer. This got community noted that this story is from 2018. And the practitioner was a dermatologist, not a certified board surgeon. But the patient underwent liposuction, suffered cardiac arrest during the procedure due to lack of emergency equipment, and was left with permanent brain damage. Now, that community note doesn't, okay, this is still fucked up, right? Am I wrong here? It's still, what are we doing? This person's sedated and you're over here dancing.
Just a rabbit.
Come on.
Nicki Minaj, ever do that. You can have ever do that.
Wow, I'm going to get copyright from that. I'm just kidding. Her voice ain't that good. I mean, come on, dude. This is crazy. Oh, man. Cake in a Cup goes, Jesus, Cake in a Cup. I don't think there's many female black surgeons, Cake in a Cup asserts. Well, you said that, not me. I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure in Kenya they got plenty. Female surgeons are pretty rare. I'll tell you though, there's a lot of female anesthesiologists, and they really make all the money if you think about it. I mean, they get like $100K per pump. Like every time they go do a quick put somebody out, they get like $100K, dude. These motherfuckers make money. And I met a lot of women that were anesthesiologists. Okay, so this is also, yeah. So my point is, we can't trust the medical system. Come on, guys. I mean, these people are psychopaths. You remember during COVID, all the nurses dancing, and apparently those were all AI videos. Let's see if we can find that, because that is intriguing, if that's true. Because I remember seeing all those nurses dancing and shit, and I thought it was real, but that was before AI came out the way it is today. So let's see if we could pull that out. All right. Happy Sunday. How we doing today? All right. AI nurses dancing during COVID. I'm almost positive that was. Yeah, look at this. Look at this. So they're saying this is all AI. And honestly, now that we have AI, I'm pretty sure they're right. I think they're right. So these are all the nurses' videos from them during COVID. Let's see if we agree. Is this AI or not? Let me turn off the music because they're going to be playing music. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to tell, but that looks like AI. Come on. That does too. There's like 5, 6 people in one room. Yeah, I don't know, man. Very likely could have been all just a big AI hoax. Why would they do that, though? Why would they make AI videos of people dancing during COVID while people are stuck in their house? Well, I have an answer, and I'll be getting into it with William Ramsey in the first week or two of April. We're going to be doing Mind Wars, a Mind Wars series together, I believe. Maybe at least more than one episode. Talking about Mind Wars, Michael Aquino's Mind Wars. He also created another book. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's called Mind Stars by Michael Aquino. And this is a less known book. This one it's called Mind Star, Michael Aquino. Here, I'll show it to you. This is a less known book by Michael Aquino, the guy who's created the Temple of Set, connected to a lot of dark things. He created a book called Mind Wars, and I think that they're using that as a blueprint for psychological operations today. But he also created a book called Mind Star. It explores the mystery of the human soul. But you got to remember, this is a delving into the mystery of the human soul from somebody who believes in the, satanic Bible, etc. By the way, I read the satanic Bible, a little bit of it yesterday after praying for protection. And I'll tell you what, man, it really opened my eyes to understand what they believe in. I kind of, it is a Luciferian, like I get it. The Luciferian doctrine, the whole thing, it's fucked up. I don't agree with any of it. Let me make that perfectly clear. It is a dark, it's all about indulgence. It's all about indulgence, and it's all about this idea that that Lucifer gave us thought on a level where we could choose whether we want to go to heaven or be here in the material hell forever. And I choose the first. So anyway, just with that being said, this is from a person who believes in, the Luciferian doctrine. And so he talks about the human soul, what it is, and how it can be detected, and how it can be creatively and productively activated. So there's a historical survey that he includes of misapprehensions, misuses, and outright rejections of this crucial metaphysical core of human existence. The soul, or mind star, he calls it, as redefined, is the key to individual conscious immortality, which is addressed and prescribed clearly and coherently. So again, it's the Luciferian doctrine, the key to individual conscious immortality. I can't wait to get into Mystery Babylon. I'm going to revamp Mystery Babylon by Bill Cooper. And the reason why is he literally laid all this out, that this is just, that man wants to become God. They worship the sun, but the sun represents intellect, Luciferian principles of light, the false light, all that shit. Venus and all that, yes, it plays a role, but the pagan, Ra, all that shit, that's definitely the intellect from the divine being. So anyway, I'm going to try to get this book so we could get into this as well. That's what I was getting at. But me and William Ramsey are going to get into Mind Wars together, do a nice series on it. Welcome, everybody. Yes, Bill Cooper, baby, the GOAT. I've listened to, Mystery Babylon a few times and read it a few times. I've taken notes on it a few times. I'm about to do it again. So I'm going to listen to each episode. I'm going to break down each episode. I'm going to do a show on it. I'm going to try to do it kind of like, I'm literally going to revamp it. So what I plan to do is lay it out just like he did. Not in a plagiarized way, but lay it out just like he did, and then add some modern context to what we see today. Because as I listened to it before, I remember having the modern context to what he's talking about. I think it'll be great. With all that being said, California is using virtual reality on people in prison, and it's working. Curtis Yarvin virtualized them. It looks like they're practicing this technology. So in California, the birthplace of much of the world's technology innovation, virtual reality is being used in an unexpected setting. Prisons. In 4 facilities, incarcerated people put on Meta-donated headsets, to help prepare for them for re-entry into society and the experiences they may encounter after release. These include exiting prison on release day, attending job interviews, navigating public spaces, paying for groceries, and even participating in family gatherings. For those held in solitary confinement, virtual reality offers scenes from the outside world, such as Paris, Thailand. Program organizers claim that the use of VR in solitary confinement has coincided with sharp reductions in disciplinary infractions. Wow. Dude, look at this. Here, hold on, let me get back up here. Let's look at this.
Now, for those behind bars, freedom is no longer just about opening the gates. It's also about surviving a world that has moved on without them.
Inside a California prison, virtual reality is being used as a bridge between incarceration and reintegration, from learning basic life skills to rediscovering hope and purpose.
In routines, nights in silence. For the men and women incarcerated in prisons, the world outside goes from being distant to one that they can't relate to.
Can we only get this from like India?
Not surprisingly, even resolving a conflict, skills most of us take for granted. For some, the experience is also a way to escape the mental strain of incarceration. The program combines immersive experiences with practical training. Participants move through virtual cities, natural landscapes, and everyday scenarios designed to mirror the challenges
Dude, they're chilling on the beach or what?
they will face once released. The activity is aimed at building confidence by teaching essential life skills, all within a safe, controlled environment.
That's some wild shit. That's some wild shit. Somebody said, well, yeah, I'll have to look into the Exodus 21:5 and 6 and how it pertains to Trump getting shot in the ear. Yeah, techno prison, hell, that's exactly right, Birdman. And, you know, that's some crazy shit right there, isn't it? They're like just chilling there. Everybody's just sitting next to each other in virtual reality. That's just wild. It's probably better than just sitting there and all the shit they got to deal with without the virtual reality. I mean, I'll give them that, you know. It's definitely better than that. I can give them that. So, but yeah, so I mean, you know, these virtual prisons, you know, this is the beginning of the idea of virtualizing people. You know, it's the beginning of the idea of putting people in a virtual oasis so they can enjoy this life that they don't actually do anything real, tangible, right? I guess speaking of that, we should talk a little bit about since we're talking about this, I mean, how this all kind of interacts with each other in a weird way is the robot. Now, you guys know what I'm talking about. By now, I'm sure you've seen that a robot named Neo was walked through the White House with Ivanka Trump or Melania. We're fucked, guys. I mean, come on, man. This is crazy. So let's check this out. You know, and of course, what's the main thing that they want to do with this robot? They want to come for your kids. They just want to come for your kids. That's all. We can trust these people with our kids, right? If there's one thing I can trust them with, it's my kids. You know, I mean, that's one thing I do trust the government, these private companies, Elon Musk, right? I trust them with my children. Crazy. All right, well, what's going on here? I gotta type it in again. Robot at the White House. All right, let's check this out.
I'm Figure 3, a humanoid built in the United States of America. I am grateful to be part of this historic movement to empower children with technology and education. Welcome. Bienvenido. Yo gusto. Bienvenido. Bienvenido. Ahlan wa sahlan.
Dude, I don't like the way Melania has been looking the whole time that she's displaying this robot. She's giving the same kind of look whenever she first brought the robot out, too. It's just weird. Let's see if I can find the other one of her bringing him out. Let's see here. Well, I can't. But, you know, I'll tell you what. The White House app, I don't want to get off tangent here, but I hope nobody got the White House app. They dropped an app recently, and this app has, it runs foreground services. It can appear on top of other apps. It runs at startup, Google Play license check. It also can view network connections, prevent phone from sleeping, view Wi-Fi connections, use fingerprint hardware, receive data from the internet, control vibration, have full network access, and use your biometric hardware. So the White House app is really just a spyware service that they're trying to get you to put on your phone. Just so you know. You know, I mean, this is just, we're on another level here right now. And people are just, I mean, eating it up. You know? All right, let me see. Robot at the White House. Let's see if I can find the other video where she walks down. Here we go. She's walking down here. Well, let me pause it. All right. Well, people were talking about how she wasn't walking like a woman the whole time. She was kind of walking like a man a little bit. Let's back it up, see if we could see. All right. So she walks like woman. Hold on here. Let me open it up for you. All right. We're good. We're good. We're good. Oh, we're good. So I know what they're saying. She kind of changes her gait while she walks, as if she's like unnaturally walking like a woman. I don't know, dude. I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? Who gives a shit? I can't really tell. So this is what she had to say about it. Let's see here. Hold on. She's talking about, yeah, I mean, in the comfort of your home, you can have these robots teaching you.
Imagine a humanoid educator named Plato. Access to the classical studies is now instantaneous. Literature, science, art, philosophy, mathematics, and...
Did you notice they call this robot Plato? They call it Plato because the Neoplatonic era that they're trying to enter with this new age of Atlantis, the golden age, the golden era. And so why didn't they name this robot Aristotle? You know, Aristotle was more of a philosopher, if you want to talk Greek philosophers, right? No, but Plato was initiated in the temple of the king's chamber with the pyramids and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He's the guy who was famous for speaking about Atlantis, the god kings of old, the new Atlantis, this technate, the CO king patchwork system. It all ties together. So this does tie in with what we're talking about today. Check this out.
History. Humanity's entire corpus of information is available in the comfort of your home. Plato will provide...
In the confinement of your prison, as I say. I don't think... The comfort of your home sounds good, but the lockdowns from COVID just makes me look at it different.
A personalized experience, adaptive to the needs of each student. Plato is always patient and always available. Predictably, our children will develop deep critical thinking and independent reasoning abilities. The AI-powered Plato will boost analytics skills and problem solving and adapt in real time to a student's pace.
I just don't think you're going to get more critical thinking from using a robot for doing your thinking. I mean, I guess one could argue it's a tutor-based system, but either way, we should not be giving off, I'm trying to think of the word, but segmenting off our critical thinking to these machines and these systems. So anyway, Plato, the robot, you know, bringing it back. Can you imagine asking your Plato? Can you imagine asking your Plato about the 3,000 years it will call in a drone strike? That's hilarious, you know. Hey, what up, Biblical? What up, Steve? Steven. Yeah, Plato is definitely a weird one, you know. No, Play-Doh, as in the toy. I'm pretty sure it's Plato, as in the philosopher. New robot, Plato. I'm pretty sure it's called Plato. Yes, Plato, like the philosopher. A patient, always available educator, capable of adapting to each student's need, promoting critical thinking and freeing up time for other activities. Melania Trump says. So, yeah, buddy. Plato is going to come teach your kids for you in your house, and it's going to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so anyway, just moving on from that, let's talk more about Neuralink, or let's get into the idea of this prison system, digital prison system. It kind of leads into Neuralink, this weird shit going on with that. There is stuff brewing up with this. So, technology is turning immigration detention into an invisible leash. Let's start off with this, and then we'll get into the next aspect of this. This is a multifaceted situation we got here. So Mariella crossed in Arizona just after dawn. Her daughter Isabella pressed tightly in her chest, both of them shivering despite the desert. Okay, I don't want the sob story. They crossed over here illegally. Border Patrol picked them up. Okay. Mariella and Isabella were separated that night just for processing. Okay. She could not sleep, yada, yada. Mariella and Isabella were moved to a privately run facility detention center in Texas. Mariella had no idea what that meant. The facility looked like a warehouse. Cameras tracked her every move, and a heavy bracelet was clasped to her ankle. It buzzed softly every few hours. She later learned it logged her location, steps, and even patterns of restlessness at night. Every call to her brother cost nearly $1 a minute. Medical care required a request, followed by a long wait. Okay. But what matters is that they have this app called SmartLink, which would use the phone camera to scan her face. So ICE is kind of testing out this biometric system, tracking system, Palantir style, Maven style, Gotham. These are all the different data services for Palantir, like Gotham. Here, let's show you so you know what I'm saying. So Gotham has Palantir has Gotham. Gotham is a flagship data analytics platform designed for government and defense agencies, enabling them to integrate, analyze, and visualize vast amounts of data for actionable insight. Now, this is for police officers, emerging threats, operational challenges, but pretty much it's a fucking police state system that can watch everything you do and yada yada. So then they also have Maven, which is more for war and drones. But this is kind of what they're using like in the military currently. Pentagon expands use of Palantir AI in the new defense contract. It's a long thing, but Maven itself. Oh, here it is. Maven uses artificial intelligence, processes imagery, sensory data collected from drones, satellites, and other surveillance systems. So like the apps that this Border Patrol service is giving out probably has the same type of data system. The goal is to reduce the workload of human analytics, speed decision-making. But in practice, what does it do? I'm trying to get to, they just got so much bullshit. Like, just say what it does. So, okay, data center warfare, dependence and oversight. You guys get the point. They're just fucking using the AI so they could track everything and kill everything. That's what they're doing. And so the point is that they're using the same thing for these ICE detention centers to try and SmartLink. Let's see who owns SmartLink. Is this connected to anybody important? Let's see if Palantir is connected to SmartLink. Or Peter Thiel. Maybe the Fellowship. Thiel Fellowship, maybe? I wouldn't be surprised. Nope. SmartLink. ICE. Huh, they really have nothing about it. Inside, look at SmartLinks. Okay. Let's get some information on this SmartLink. What is this? Yeah, I don't know who created it. It could be a government app. I'm not really entirely sure. I was just curious if it has anything to do with these same tech bros that we always see. So anyhow, one night she woke up in a panic, convinced that the app had recorded her face incorrectly. Her phone had died. She cried silently. So because the smart app would set alarms if she didn't check in on time. So she wasn't in physical detention, but Mariella's freedom existed within the boundaries of an app. It's a digital prison, guys. That's what we're getting at here. They created digital prison. So Mariella's story is a composite drawn from real accounts of people caught up in increasingly digitized immigrant detention. So they're just practicing this data tracking in this surveillance state, police state, digital prison tracking system. The report examines the rise of digital technologies and immigrant enforcement like ankle monitors, GPS-enabled watches, and biometric reporting apps. That's the big one to worry about. Let's look into those a little bit more. The use of facial recognition app for people facing deportation. So this, yeah, I mean, they're just going to be bringing that out. I wonder if anybody's trying to use this for civilians yet. Like, is there a state that's trying to do this? Let's see here. SmartLink is a mobile app developed by BI Incorporated, a subsidiary of the private prison company GEO Group. Great. So it's a private prison app. Monitors certain migrants. The app allows for real-time communication. Okay, but it doesn't say anything about using it on domestically yet. They will. Don't worry. Don't you worry. So as we get into this, Neuralink implanted ICE detainees without consent. So in July 2025, Elon Musk announced that Neuralink needs to scale from 7 brain implants to 1,000 implants by the end of 2026. 993 additional people over 15 months. 60 patients per month receiving experimental brain surgery. Given the pace at which they completed the first 7 implants, this timeline is very ambitious. But unless, of course, you solved some very specific problem about recruitment. Neuralink has FDA approval for 2 sites in the United States. The first is the Barrow Neurological Institute in Phoenix, Arizona. Okay, and that is the one that we showed. Let me go ahead and pull that up because I feel like that's important that we have a side-by-side as we talk about this. That's the one that we talked about a little bit ago that talks about Neuralink and how there was somebody with brain damage. Neuralink. Or somebody with brain damage. Oh, dude, come on. It's like right here. I'll find it. Maybe. I got so many things. So many things. Got angels in the sky. We got all kinds of shit. So anyway, it's the one I showed you a little bit ago. You guys know what I'm talking about. But the guy had brain aneurysms or whatever that was right near the Arizona location that he has. All right, fuck it. This Ukrainian here legally on humanitarian parole after fleeing the war. According to his wife, he had no pre-existing health conditions, wasn't on any medical medications, and passed medical screenings. But 16 days after arriving at Chrome, he was found dead from a massive brain hemorrhage. The CT scan showed catastrophic intracranial bleeding. 16 days from intake to brain death, a healthy man in his 40s. No explanation that anyone's offered publicly. The kind of thing that under different circumstances might warrant investigation. So it makes you wonder what else might be not being investigated. Phoenix presented a different pattern near the Barrow Neurological Institute. You'll find major ICE facilities at Eloy and Florence. According to advocacy groups, the average time spent in solitary confinement at these Arizona facilities jumped from 14 days in 2024 to 38 days in 2025. That is kind of weird. 38 days is a long time to be alone, long enough that if something happens to you, if you woke up with gaps in your memory or unexplained symptoms, it would be difficult to establish when or how long. Yeah, that's crazy. Long enough to make a person wonder if their own memory is reliable. So if you look at the usaspinning.gov website and investigating further, the Dre dossier identified other potential sites in Honolulu, which is consistent with the beginning of the detainee transfer from Florida, Arizona, and Arizona detention facilities to Hawaii. Wow. So we're going to get into what she said on her Substack, actually, but I could go ahead and just copy this, even though I have it on my other page, but it's probably just easier just to pull it up now. Great follow, Dre Dossier. It really is. All right. So this was sent to me, by the way, a long time ago, and I just didn't get into it yet. It was by who sent this to me? Bag Lady. She came on. Tech Bro whistleblower. She's a gangster. Has some very good finds. So Dre Dossier says she's starting a new series today. For months, she'd been watching Neuralink, Elon Musk's brain chip company. Not enough people are watching the company as closely as they should be. Okay, so here's the timeline. 2025, Elon Musk announced that Neuralink. Okay, well, we talked about all that. This is what she talked about. Okay, Neuralink has FDA approval for 2 sites. We talked about that. Miami has the notorious Chrome detention facility. That's where that Ukrainian man was found with brain hemorrhages. 16 days out. Yeah. Okay, same story. Phoenix presents a different pattern. You'll find major ICE facilities at Eloy and Florence. Wow, dude, they just copy and pasted everything she said already. Okay, Honolulu mystery. These patterns have been bothering her for months, so tonight she dug into it deeper. USAspending.com, a website, tracks federal contracts and makes them publicly searchable. She started looking for anything connected to the Department of Defense with neurological surgery. So Honolulu was appearing over and over again. Multiple DoD contracts for neurological services, neurological procedures, and neurological surgery practices. Now, remember, this is a place where he got the FDA approval to do his research at. And all this ramped up in 2025, which makes sense because, Trump took office and they ran this new ICE program. So this isn't routine military care, but when she looked it up, she found nothing, no company website, no physicians. For a medical contractor performing neurological surgeries with federal money, having zero online presence is unusual. Not impossible, she asserts. So that's kind of where we're at with that. The LinkedIn receipts, she decided to start searching LinkedIn for anyone listed Neuralink as their current employer. Hawaii isn't on Neuralink's official list of FDA-approved trial sites. Oh, it isn't. But absence of evidence isn't always evidence of absence. She found two people. The first is a clinical project manager who works at Neuralink and lives in Honolulu. Her listed responsibilities include trial site management, implementation of clinical trials, management of oversight of external vendors, and negotiating relationships with organizations. But she would have to work inside of the place if she's doing clinical trials and stuff. The second person runs something called Hang 10X Capital, a private equity firm that invests in fintech and food startups. Their portfolio in Neuralink was listed as one of their investments. Personnel on the ground, and anyway, so the missing piece, if her thesis is that something deeply wrong is happening with Neuralink operations near ICE detention facilities, then Hawaii might fit the pattern too. So she got deeper into it, started asking around. In February 2025, ICE signed an agreement to start housing detainees at FDC Honolulu. That's a 992-bed facility. Wow. Holy shit. Then an article in 2025 of July explained that detainees were being transferred to Hawaii from Florida and Arizona detention facilities. So these are the exact two sites where Neuralink trials had already officially started. So there's definitely a correlation. I don't know about for sure if everything's 100%, but it's very close to connected. So she has a Doge connection. In February 2025, ICE signed an agreement with the FDC Honolulu for detainees to use there. It's also when Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency was operating inside the White House. Doge fired 20 FDA employees that same month. Wow. And then the exact offices that oversaw Neuralink's clinical trials. So you remove the people's whose job it is to ask uncomfortable questions, and then you establish the infrastructure that might generate uncomfortable questions. This is crazy. So then detainees were transferred to Hawaii, apparently go through 5 to 7 different facilities. One detainee was arrested in Florida in May, so they just moved people around as a shell game. So a month of unaccounted time ends up happening when they arrive at Hawaii, and they're 4,500 miles away from anyone who might advocate for them. If something happened to you during that month, you tried to explain it later, you'd have to account for your location across multiple sites and facilities. You'd have to remember everything, which obviously wouldn't happen with neurological things going on. This is insane. Holy shit. So you need test subjects, and obviously they're finding them through this whole ICE situation. So the Tuskegee study is a thing that we've done before. Guatemala syphilis experiment. The history of gynecology itself, built on enslaved women who couldn't consent and weren't anesthetized. I can't talk. So yeah, I mean, she's very right here. And yeah, this is not the first time. So we'll have to follow that series. She's doing some good work. Amazing. Holy shit, dude. That blew my mind. That's a lot to get into. Sorry, guys. That was a deep dive right there. It is becoming a horror movie. Absolutely, dude. This is insane, dude. Man, yeah, hit the like button For sure. Hit the like button. Get us going. Fallout Season 2, just saying. Cake in the Cup says, can't make it Neuralink without cracking a few eggs. You're right. You're exactly right. Yeah, man. I mean, this is, it's scary. I'll tell you that. Kyle, what up? Yeah. So anyway, very crazy. We're not done yet, by the way. I just had to take a breather. I mean, that's crazy, dude. She was really just fucking. She's got probably a lot more since then because that was sent to me months ago. All right, let's get this going here. We got a lot here. All right, first one. We sharing? Yes. Okay. This is the International Journal of Law, Management, and Humanities. And this is about AI brain implants on prisoners as a means to attain reformative justice versus neuro rights. Oh boy, this is, I mean, a horror movie's right. It really is. We're on the verge of a new revolution right now. Devices and methods aimed at accessing, evaluating, simulating, and influencing brain systems are rapidly expanding in the field of neurotechnology. Propelled by recent advancements in artificial intelligence, these devices can be employed for therapeutic objectives, regaining mobility for paralyzed individuals, as well as neurostimulation for brain activity. Researchers from all around the world are even attempting to interface our mind with computers. When it comes to protecting our mental privacy, this is where ethical boundaries come into play. So for this reason, neural rights are crucial. So this gets into all that. According to a recent developed prison concept, AI brain implants have the potential to transform prisoners completely by placing more emphasis on rehabilitation than punishment. This prison of the future seeks to lower long-term incarceration costs, reoffending rates, and then this novel method has the potential to alter the way society views criminals. Doesn't it sound like a science fiction film from the future? It's more than just an idea. It can completely change the way we think about crime and punishment. Are you curious how this will function and the legal implications lie ahead? Very crazy. So anyway, it talks about neurotechnology, which includes tools and processes that aim to access, evaluate, and mimic and influence neurological systems. So anyway, talks about neural rights being important because of our mental privacy. But of course, prisoners don't have mental privacy. So the brain implants done on such people have led to ethical concerns as well. There's a great possibility of misuse of this power. To what extent the brain implants must be done, they literally admit, like, we could really be opening up a Pandora's box here. The UNESCO report on neurotechnology has warned that neurotechnology's developments hold profound implications for human identity, autonomy, privacy, behavior, and well-being, i.e. the very essence of what it means to be human. Do we need legislation to protect our brains? This is a significant and fascinating question to consider. Not really. I think we just leave it alone. I would like to just leave it alone. Every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. Never write off the man wearing the criminal attire, but remove the dangerous degeneracy in him. Restore his retarded human potential by holistic healing of his fevered, fatigued, or frustrated inside, and by repairing the repressive, though hidden, injustice of the social order, vicariously guilty of the criminal behavior of any innocent convicts. This was a book, quote from a book, Death Sentence on the Death Sentence. Anyway, these people are crazy. So anyway, Jesus. One close analysis, it would seem, is that there's a possibility that we are God's robots, somebody said. Recent advances in artificial intelligence have been heralded as a game changer because of their capacity to produce speech that sound humans from vast amounts of data. So AI implants like Neuralink are devices implanted in the brain, enabling direct communication between the brain and computers, helping with medical conditions and enhancing human capabilities. The implant's ultra-fine threads help transmit signals to participants' brains. Elon Musk has stated that spikes will enable control of our phone or computer, and through them almost any device just by thinking. Spikes are activity by neurons, which the National Institute of Health describes as cells that use electrical and chemical signals to send information around the brain and to the body. So this Neuralink Prime study uses a robot to surgically place a brain-computer interface implant in a region of the brain that controls the intention to move. So the initial goal is to enable people to control a computer cursor or keyboard alone. All right, so let's get past all this. So this talks about cognifying AI-generated memories. Cognify use AI to produce realistic, vivid memories of the crime from the viewpoint of the victim, subsequently inserted into the prisoner's brain. Then they do empathy and remorse. This intention is to arouse deep empathy and regret for the victim, which may result in a shift in the prisoner's perspective and conduct. Dude, this shit is a nightmare. I mean, it's a nightmare if you can imagine, like, you know, doing this like without an implant and doing this wirelessly, and you could create, you know, this whole idea of like creating empathy and remorse. You could like really turn that up and crank it up and make somebody go insane because of you putting a nightmare in their head, you know? I mean, I know it sounds like a horror movie, but I mean, really. Fast track rehabilitation. Cognify provides a brief, intense rehabilitation period, possibly lasting only minutes, instead of long jail terms. So anyway, there's brain mapping, AI-generated memories, memory implantation, and then time compression. There's abuse potential. Given the ability to alter memories, there's a chance that this technology will be abused. Data privacy. Serious privacy issues with the gathering of archiving of brain data. And then, of course, unexpected repercussions. It is unknown how artificial memory implantation may affect the inmate's mental and emotional health in the long run. All things considered, it is an intriguing idea that seeks to transform the criminal justice. We're like, you know what? We're fucking doing it anyway. But it's imperative to control the moral dilemmas, etc. Yeah, we've seen that, you know, humans do a great job of controlling the dilemmas whenever they have power. They can do real-time adjustments to hormones and neurotransmitters, which simultaneously cause emotional states like regret and guilt. I don't love that. Even though they may believe they've spent years in a hellish, ultra-violent prison environment suited to their individual personalities and psychological states, they will not have aged at all. While all of this may seem theoretical, it is actually grounded in true science. Scientists have previously been able to successfully create false memories in mice and transform their dreadful recollections into joyful ones. Wow. So right here, it says that scientists were able to transmit in 2018 a memory from one marine snail to another. So the current prison system encompasses several issues, including insufficient rehabilitation, etc. Yeah, we know that. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. Obviously, that's a great rundown of the technology that's behind some of this stuff that they're looking into. So with that being said, let's get into this. Oh, we already did this one. Okay. Let's check this out. All right. This one's good. This one's going to be real good. I'm excited for this one. All right. So, just to back up the Dre dossier thing, I guess this is going to have some of the Dre dossier shit in it. What is this? What is this from? ICE being investigated for non-consensual Neuralink testing on detainees. This was written in 2025. This might be the Dre dossier. But this person's reporting on it, so let's see how much new stuff we can get out of it. I'm not really sure we will. Maybe we need to just go to her series, because it seems like people just report on her stuff. They're not really, she's like the one doing actual investigatory work on it. So there's a growing body of evidence reviewed by the Dre dossier channel suggesting Elon Musk's brain implant company Neuralink may be involved in experimental activities extending far beyond its publicly approved clinical trials, including possible testing near immigration detention centers and undisclosed federal medical facilities. These revelations, now under preliminary review by independent journalists and legal experts, echo historical abuses in the medical research and raise urgent questions about oversight and informed consent. So this is everything she did. We can kind of get past that. Let's see if they got anything to add. It doesn't seem like they do. Okay, cool. Nothing to add, then moving on. So this is another thing that's kind of coming up. Brain deaths at the Crone Detention Center. So it seems that there's been more than one at that detention center. So, wait, how do we get to the... Oh, shit. All right, here we go. Okay, so yeah, there's multiple people here. 3 men died at Miami's Crone Detention Center between December and February. All 3 deaths involved the same thing. Their brain stopped working correctly. The cause of death wasn't disclosed. One person had seizures, dizziness, headache. One man obviously had no medical condition. The one we talked about, he's had the brain injury. Brain dead within hours. 1 brain death might be tragedy. 2, coincidence. 3 is many months, all the same facilities, starts to look like something else. Elon Musk's brain implant company needs test subjects desperately, as we talked about. The FDA employees who were supposed to oversee everything got fired. Musk announced in 2024 that Neuralink needed to scale it up. Okay, dude, everybody's just repeating what she did. So let's look up. Okay, so I've got the Dre dossier Substack. I do follow her. Let me go ahead and check that out. See if we can find some more about this Neuralink situation past that one article, because it seems like she should have more than one. All right, let's figure this out, guys. Can we search inside of the Dre dossier, or do I got to sit here and go through every one of them? Because it looks like we're going to have to go through every one of them. All right, well, I don't want to log in right now, but... Oh, I got an idea. So I'll just look it up. First of all, we'll go to the chat. How's everybody doing today? What do you guys think about this shit? It's pretty crazy. Let's see. What's in my head? Dre dossier? Is that what it's called? Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's go, dude. All right. Cool. Give me a second here. I've got him. She's got like 6 parts to this. Hell yeah. Let's go. All right. Give me a second. It's part 1. It's part 6. What is this? I'm trying to find part 2. Here we go. Part 2. All right. Let me see here. Okay. Okay, the great cyberpunk writers of the 20th century. Maybe I should just send this to myself. I'll just do that. That'd be more kind to the listeners. Thanks for being patient. But, dude, we're about to get into it, dude. She's got a lot. She's got like 6 parts. I mean, holy shit. I wish I could just find everyone quickly individually so it's not taking so much time, because it seems hard to find on Substack. It just shows like 1 random one and 1 random one. You know how it be. People over here trying to promote my shit, dude. I don't need you promoting my shit. Promote my own shit. Need anybody promoting my shit? Oh, I'll take you. Just give me 40% and get out of here. Sorry, guys. Anyway, all right. Thinking out loud. Okay, so let's pull this up. The great cyberpunk writers of the 20th century understood something we've forgotten. The most dangerous moment in the dystopian world isn't when the technology arrives fully formed. It's in the messy, unregulated space where it's being built. That's a fact, dude. So BCI technology and companies like Neuralink, people like Musk fixated on dystopian possibilities like these technologies might bring. Let's get into it. Part 1 was a lot about the detention facilities, etc. So what she's going to get into, first let me say something that might surprise you. Brain-computer interfaces aren't far. Okay, so she's going to get deep into stuff we've talked about on the show for a while now. But it wouldn't hurt to go over it a little bit. We'll go past it a little bit. Because we've done a lot. I mean, we can maybe do this separately and get into this another time. So Neuralink's different. It's not the only company working on brain-computer interfaces. There's plenty of others, but these companies operate the way medical device companies are supposed to operate. They didn't initially want to register their okay. All right, cool. She's just giving a background on a lot of this shit. Okay, so Neuralink's prime registry is almost never up to date. The information is sparse, vague, months behind, and major announcements about patients don't come through proper scientific channels. They come via X posts. Elon is literally tweeting about brain surgery results instead of publishing peer-reviewed data. That is true. You don't have to understand neural engineering and FDA filings to grasp this much. When surgeon tasked with putting devices in people's brains decided he can't stay, that means something went very wrong. And because there's a brain surgeon who left. So that person probably seen enough. And yeah, I mean, my God. So she gets into the founding of Neuralink. She talks about how there's just a lot of risk with it. Neuralink hadn't done in 2018, they hadn't done any human trials yet. So they have moved pretty quick. So part 3 will pick up inside the labs after the doors closed, animal trials, missing reports, and employees who tried to speak up and disappear behind NDAs. All the evidence proving Rappaport was right, and that by the time anyone listened, it was already too late. Wow, good for her. Dude, this is crazy. I wish they would have the next fucking part just right here. Let's see. They should make it easier just to find the next ones. All right, well, let's see if we can find it. Wow, she's got a lot of parts to this. It went to part 7. Son of a bitch.
So now, just to step you through what the product evolution is going to look like in the next 3 years, today what we have is 1,000 electrodes in the motor cortex, the small part of the brain that you see in this animation called.
All right. The scientists who left, Benjamin Rappaport left Neuralink in 2018, 2 years after co-founding.
Something we're just doing by ourselves without government oversight. We work closely with the regulators.
My bad. Crazy. Yeah, we're going to get into this. This is nuts. So, the scientists who left, Benjamin Rappaport left Neuralink in 2018, 2 years after co-founding the company with Musk. He co-founded it. He went on to build Precision Neuroscience, launched it in 2021 with a very specific mission to prove that brain-computer interfaces could be built safely without invasiveness that Neuralink was pursuing. Wow. 2024, there's an interview with the Wall Street Journal. Rappaport was careful but clear about why he left. Pretty much devoted my entire life to professional life to bringing neural interfaces from the world of science to the world of medicine. But he felt that in order to move to the world of medicine and technology, safety is paramount. So clearly he didn't think safety was an issue there. The difference is simple. How they interact with brain tissue. Neuralink uses penetrating microelectrodes, thin threads that pierce into the brain. Precision uses surface microelectrodes that sit on top of the brain without penetrating it. It causes some amount of brain damage, he said. So, Rappaport was one of many who left. By 2020, only 3 of the 8 founding scientists remained at Neuralink. The exodus included Max Hodak, the company's president and co-founder, a couple other people. Years of internal conflict was reported in rushed timelines, and they classed with slow, incremental pace of science. So that move fast, break shit. The scientists who stayed behind or joined later found themselves under what multiple former employees described as relentless pressure. Sounds like he does that with SpaceX and Tesla too. So we got animal trials. We know that a lot of crazy shit happened with the animal trials. So, first human trial. The first human trial implant, the company was announced on X. Of course. Someone underwent experimental brain surgery to have electrodes threaded into their brain tissue, and we found out about it sandwiched between cryptocurrency scams and AI-generated slop. She's right. The patient was recovering well, Musk said. Initial results showed promising neurospike detection. So the big reveal, March 2024. We all saw this. Neuralink didn't mention during the March demonstration was that something had already gone wrong. There was a reporting that came out that after his surgery, a number of threads had retracted from his brain tissue. And these threads are tiny electrode wires that Neuralink robot inserts into the brain to detect neural signals. 85% of the threads had pulled away from the tissue that we're supposed to be monitoring. This was a major hardware complication. And the threads retracting meant the implant was receiving significant fewer signals than intended, which would make it far less effective. So Neuralink's solution, according to the company, was to modify the algorithm to make the device more sensitive to the remaining threads. Wow. So this is a very Musk approach to problem solving. Yeah, but yeah, this is just insane. I wouldn't trust them a mile, like within a mile of my brain, dude. So after years of complaints from animal rights groups, 15 dead monkeys, after all the reports of rushed timelines and shoddy experiments, multiple federal agencies were finally scrutinizing Neuralink's practices. In 2025, Trump was inaugurated for his second presidential term. It seems this was the saving grace for Elon's Neuralink. Within his first week in office, Trump appointed Elon to lead the Department of Doge, and then he got rid of the FDA agents who would have been overseeing the regulatory assets for Neuralink. So 7 days after, he had got rid of them. Systematically, those investigations that had been open began to disappear. Trump's first week in office, he fired 17 of the inspectors. So the firings continued through March and into April. And of course, after that, his job was done and he left. So the conflict of interest was impossible to miss. Yeah, so. Oh, and then, of course, by April 2025, the first patient had been implanted at the Miami site. And he was paralyzed, U.S. veteran. And the procedure was reported successful. Now it's expanded into Canada. And we know how Canada feels about people's lives. So pretty much everybody left. All right, so now we can do part 4. Are you guys enjoying this? I'm enjoying this. This is crazy. I mean, she's got some good shit. And it's wild, man. Who is patient number 4?
What happens to you? Immediately, you can tell that a lot.
All right. Okay, Mike has advanced ALS. So someone claims to his friend created an emergency fundraiser because Mike was, in their words, ready to give up on life. A Neuralink executive donated $3,000. Someone posted the video game integration, and then yeah. So this person joins. Oh, she just gets into like transparency, the patient that we can't find. Oh wow! So there's like a patient that we just don't really know what's going on. The language stopped cold. He's ready to give up on life. Yeah. Okay. So let's get down here. She really gets. Every article is just a deep dive. It's like shit. We ain't got all that time. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. You guys definitely follow Dre Dossier, dude. She's fucking got that shit going. I highly recommend. Love to have her on sometime. She'll come on. Love to see some of her research. We'll go to the chat a little bit and then probably get out of here. Super chats welcome. Super chats are welcome if you guys appreciate the research, appreciate the love. Either way, go ahead and follow, like, subscribe, and go hit up the Patreon if you want. It's $3, one tier. And otherwise, thanks for being you. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. Either way, we love it. All right. So what do we got here? Made it late. How we doing though, Evil Glare? MK Ultra World is here, Aquim. You're very right. Science fiction is reality. 1984 in Overdrive. Welcome in, Craig. What up, Craig? You're exactly right, buddy. Next pandemia will be chipped out. Yeah, no shit, dude. It's going to be the little small sensor chips. If they're not already getting into your bloodstream just by spraying the airs, right? I mean, they're already spraying the air and doing shit. So humans have been here before. This is why they taught ethics once grave robbing was not a crime. My next phone is going to be a Nokia from the old times. Damn right. Yeah, Evil Glare, this shit was crazy, dude. Elon's out here. He's a mad scientist, dude. He doesn't give a fuck. He really seems to be just pursuing everything that Epstein was pursuing at Zorro Ranch. I mean, that is one of the things the Dre dossier, like, she seemed to be talking about Elon's ranch. Hold on here. I'm pretty sure Elon Musk 50,000. Give me a second here. Because I'm almost positive she had something in here and there was like Elon's ranch. Because I'm curious about that. All right, let's see here. Come on. Well, that's weird. It won't even pull up now. Anyway. All right, cool. So, best thing about Nokia is you can slam it shut, slide across the table, and not care if it slides off. Yeah, that's right, dude. How we doing, Joy? Welcome, welcome. These people are bloody vampires, especially Peter Thiel. There's an interesting cyberpunk novel called The Metamorphosis of Prime Intellect, written in 1994. Yeah, the 90s were the prime time for a lot of the cyberpunk, cybernetic, all this transhumanist movement kind of started to kick up around then. Crazy. Pure Black Mirror shit. You're exactly right. Before long, it's going to be like putting earbud in your ear and just linking to it. Yeah, pretty much. You need to roll up Alchemy. I hear you, dude. I'm over here. I'm packing a little oneie, dude. Testing on humans for years without disclosure. Yeah, honestly, inside your bones, I think that that's kind of what this is showing is that this guy's been doing some fuck shit for a while. And now, with Trump in office, he's definitely able to just do all those things. But he seems to be getting caught right away by people like Dre Dossier. But there's not enough people really calling it out. So that's why we're trying to do our due diligence here. So, yeah, the shit is hitting the fan. Her name, Dre Dossier. Yeah. I'll put it in here. On Substack. I'll put it in here right now for you. That's great follow on Substack. She's got great deep dives. I always like to check her stuff out. Using the files to keep people from focusing on the ranch activities. You're exactly right, Joy. And that's what I'm talking about. Like Elon Musk, that's why I want to look at the ranch thing that he had. I'll find it for you guys. Hold on a second. Bro, the Goosebumps books. You're right. Those are fire. All these topics. You're right. I used to love that shit. Okay, let me see if I can find this. Hold on. We're just kicking it. Happy Sunday. All right, hold on here. I don't know why I can't find it, dude. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. You guys are doing absolutely great. I'm trying to get this pulled up. Why is this? Oh, I get it. I'm DREY. Oops. Okay, come on, dude. I'm sorry. All this quiet time here. We're going to find it. We're just going to scroll. Fuck them. The Neuralink Ranch. Here it is. Thank God we found it. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so what is this Neuralink Ranch? So it says, in October 2025, Neuralink announced new facilities in San Francisco, a move that felt oddly out of step with the playbook we've seen from Musk's other ventures, all of which have been pounding the drum for Texas in recent years. California is supposedly overregulated, too liberal, etc. So why go back? If it's such a hellscape, why return? In part 5, she mapped out the money trails, tracing $650 million in fresh funding as it moved through a web of investors in special purpose vehicles. There's major foreign investments carefully tucked into the structure. She followed these flows to understand who was on the top and who was in the middle, etc. But that work left her with a different question, one that felt more concrete and potentially more revealing. If the capital flows and ownership structures are this carefully obscured, where is that money actually being spent? Physical infrastructure doesn't hide as easily as a Delaware LLC labs. So anyway, all of these, she gets into it. So her next step, straightforward enough, she went into looking at the places. So there's this place called River Bottoms Ranch. She pulls up the property records and the site looks straightforward enough. 37-acre parcel sitting alongside Colorado River, 20 minutes southeast of Austin. Ooh. And right by the Texas property, the big kind of place you'd expect to see horses, cattle. But instead, it suggested that a high technology medical device manufacturing, and certainly nothing that would implicate. Okay, yeah, so wait, let's get down to it. She dug into the ownership and something didn't add up. The property was listed under a company called River Bottoms Ranch, LLC. There's not any obvious Musk-affiliated entity, just a ranch company with a pastoral name. So she wondered why this particular address kept showing up repeatedly whenever she searched for Neuralink facilities. And so she pulled the LLC filings from the Texas office to see who actually is behind the ranch. And then that's when things came into place. The LLC's president was listed as Jared Birdshaw, and the member was listed as the Neuralink Corporation. Musk business dealings, Jared Birchall's name should be familiar. He runs Accession LLC, which is Elon's family office, the entity that manages Musk's personal wealth and handles the paperwork. So he probably just has a ranch inside of under that LLC. It's like his home. And then there was Neuralink Corp listed right there as a member, not exactly hidden, but not advertised either. So this is Neuralink's facility, registered under a shell company structure with Musk's money manager running it on paper. She looked at the construction documents and permitting paperwork, and she found that Scott Padilla listed as the primary contact for the project. Quick check on his LinkedIn profile shows that he's a Neuralink's design, construction, and facilities lead. Oh, wow. Wow. So he is building a facility on this ranch with decades of experience in medical device manufacturing and regulatory compliance. So you had this clear division of labor. Birdshaw is running the shell company. And then, of course, Padilla, he's running the actual construction of the facility. Crazy. So Birchall's connection, she started noticing that the pattern extended beyond the single property. There's a horse ranch LLC connected to Birchall, adjacent to Tesla's Gigafactory. And then there's also similar patterns tied to XAI's Memphis operation and this network of pastoral or generic LLCs that names masking, obviously who Musk is and if he owns it. Wow. So Neuralink Corporation was explicitly listed as a member of the LLC that she keeps finding. So the construction permits for what's labeled internally as Project ATX1 is a 3-story building designed to house offices, a machine shop, and something that permits simply called clean room device manufacturing. So she started researching what clean room manufacturing entails. And these are expensive, highly regulated spaces. Companies build them when they're manufacturing products that need to be sterile. This would be surgical devices, medical implants, of course. So this is what made her stop to think about the timeline. Construction on this facility began in July of 2024. At that point in time, Neuralink had implanted nearly their technology in exactly 2 people in the entire history of the company. Not 200, not even 20. 2 human beings received implants. The company was breaking ground on this huge facility for medical production, and the site showed something even more striking when looking at it, showing that the future building was planned to be 78,000 square feet. So this can be huge. And when you add it up, that's like 400,000 square feet together with the other building. So the property tax records tell the story of this transformation. So yeah, this is crazy. So she's saying that the trials are moving carefully and methodically the kind of caution that makes sense at first, but the manufacturing infrastructure tells a completely different story. This facility was designed and constructed as if there's a huge volume of production. Yeah, but we know that he's starting a production with, Neuralink. So, I mean, this could be part of that. Wow. So anyway, he hires a bunch of surgeons. Yeah, she gets deep into it. So there's a bunch of these ranches that he's doing it on as well. So she's seeing 2 completely narratives running parallel. The public narrative that Neuralink presents, that they're conducting careful, limited clinical trials with rigorous FDA oversight. 13 patients that are enrolled, and they're all approved, and they're progressing methodically through regulatory pathways. But then what you see is the evidence of the operational evidence shows industrial scale manufacturing infrastructure that was designed and built when the company had successfully implanted just 2 patients. $22 million in construction spending. Surgical staff being recruited for a location that doesn't appear in any clinical trial registries or public regulatory documentation. So they're hiding all this infrastructure registered under shell companies built on property that sits in a FEMA-designated flood zone directly adjacent to the Colorado River, the same area that flooded during the Memorial Day floods of 2018, causing extensive damage throughout Travis County, almost like it was on purpose. So there's been prepared for future growth, making smart bets on where your technology might go, building infrastructure ahead of demand. Well, I'm sure she would make some money if she did it because she knows what she's doing. Wow. So there's ranches. He's continuing all the same work that's been happening. It's crazy. Imagine in rehab we're just secretly doing this. I could see that. I could totally see that. You're inside of a detox, coming down off dope. And you're sitting there and they're just giving you shit. You're just, give me whatever. I just want to feel better. I mean, you're a drug addict. So, I mean, you probably would take the implant if they told you it would make you feel something. Just saying, if you're in rehab. But yeah, man, this is some crazy shit, guys. Yeah, get yourself a cup of coffee, Joy. You guys have a great day. Shout out Evil. Shout out everybody. It's been great. It's been great. I think this was a good deep dive. We got into a lot of things. The M.A.I.D beds, the med beds, virtual prisons, Neuralink. I mean, we're all an experiment in all the ways. Yep, it's true, Alchem. But get yourself some sun. Get yourself a nice, fresh air, cup of coffee. Go hang out. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. And yeah, man, it's been a good deep dive. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I've been studying up on this shit. It's been a lot of crazy shit whenever you look at it. I just remember reading that Curtis Yarvin quote that one day. And when I saw that advertisement for the M.A.I.D program the other day, I was like, that's it, dude. I got to do this and I got to mix it all together with the Neuralink shit. So I think it all came together under is one cohesive kind of idea of this new system that they're really trying to create. So I'll say hi to Justin. We're gonna be hanging out later. Justin's my boy. We're still fucking kicking it. We're gonna talk a little bit about making some clips and whatnot. Go follow us on social media. Go give us a good sub. Go give us, some love, whatever you need to do. You don't have to spend money, but if you do, thank you. It's appreciated. And otherwise, go follow us. Do your thing. And we'll see you guys what day? This week, next week. I'm gonna be taking a little bit of a hiatus just this week. I've got a few episodes to drop on the free feed, so this won't matter for the free feed. But for YouTube, I just got to take like a week so I can study up. For this whole week, I got to get into some stuff here, and then we're going to get it ready, okay? Banger episodes. I'll have a bonus episode going on Patreon only, and that'll be a great time. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you.